Hello, everyone. This is Sylvia with Odyssey of Enlightenment, and we're back with Valerie for part 2 of her amazing story. We left off at you were separated from Ray energetically. Care to explain that part?
Yeah, so it started with meditation that I do every night before I go to bed. I clear my mind, I let the universe tell me what it needs to tell me, and then, I take my shower, do all of that, and then I actually go to bed. So
And would you
I was
recommend that for anybody on this journey? Like if they want to connect?
so the easiest way for me to connect is actually when I am around water or light sources. And I think that that is just an easier outlet for most spirits to come through, is through any type of light source or through water.
What do you mean light source? Like a lamp?
Like a lamp, or where electricity comes through, because they mess with electric
Okay.
things all the time.
And so
Usually light. It's just an easy way for them to kind of get your attention.
Okay. So do you focus on the lamp?
I don't have
Or
to.
they don't have to, they do it. They do the heavy
They will
lifting. Okay.
If they want you to see the light flickering, they will make sure you see the light flickering.
Okay.
So I went into meditation, and I'm letting the universe tell me everything that the universe needs to tell me. And then Ray comes through, and he's very serious, and he's a lot of the time he is serious, but for the most part he is a jokester, he is a prankster, he's very upbeat, he's very happy, he's very trying to keep the energy up, and in a good way, right? But he was very monotone, and he was very
like
grounded,
somber.
right? And he's telling me that he needs me to believe in us. And I'm like, I do. And he's like, no, like really, I need you to believe that what is happening is really happening. I need you to believe that our relationship is still our relationship, even though we are in two different physical realms. I need you to believe that. And I said, I do. And he said, let's do this together. So he's like, focus on the light that is in front of you. At that point, there was no light. And I was like, what is he talking about? And then here's this light. So I'm focusing on this light that's in front of me. And I cannot tell you what he said at this point, but he's talking me through this belief, right? And I can feel myself not really spiraling, but I start to feel myself spinning, kind of like if you have astral projected, like how you feel before you pop out of your body.
Wow.
Kind of you vibrate real high, and it feels like you're spinning. And some people have like jerk reactions when they pop out of their body. So I was feeling all of that, right? And I was like, where is he going to take me? Well, he didn't take me anywhere. This was just kind of, I think it was more him connecting more with my higher self to make sure that I actually do believe. Like my words were not enough. He needed to feel that I actually believed. And he was like, okay, now what I'm about to tell you, so I know you believe. So what I'm about to tell you, I'm going to tell you, and then we aren't going to be able to communicate for a while. And I was like, what? He was like, wait, but it's good. Like, it's good. It is for the good. And I'm like, okay. And he said, we're not going to be able to communicate. I don't know how long. There's a lot of things that I need to do and that I need to take care of. I am coming back. I am choosing to reincarnate and come back. I am decloaking. I am giving back my wings, and I am coming back in the physical.
What does decloaking mean?
So he is an ascended master. So basically what he's doing is he is taking off his cloak of wings and kind of
Is that
not
temporary? Like,
not really.
get him back later?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
So he's not
So he's stepping down from a throne, so to speak, for the
right.
time being.
Right. So I'm not giving back. He's not giving back his wings. He is kind of just letting them rest so he can come back physically.
Okay.
So that's why I say this is going to be his 4th lifetime with me, and still only my 3rd. I was also told that he also told me that once he comes back, when it is my time to exit, him and Kinley will be going with me. Like I won't be alone.
Okay.
So whatever that means, I mean, I don't know what that means. All I know is that when it is time for my exit,
you all go.
I will be going with Kinley and with Ray. So, you know, I mean, the world may be ending. We may,
well, and
who
that
knows?
could be
Who knows? But
80 years or something. Like, you really don't know.
Right. It could be in 80 years. It could be, you know, in 6 months.
So then just like Ray, I mean, is it different for him, or we all have a choice whether we come back? We all have a choice to do that, or is it a privilege?
Well, okay. So here's the way that he explained it to me. Like, if you have learned all of your lessons, you are given a choice. If you have not, you're kind of you're not forced to come back and learn your lessons, but you go through your life review and you see everything that you did, you learn from it or you don't, and you see things that you could have done better, and you want to come back. So you're not, you can choose to stay or go, but once you go through your life review, the way that he is telling me about it is like, nobody's telling you have to come back, but you go through this and you see things that you could do better and you absolutely want to come back and do better. If you don't, you don't. You just
okay. But we probably always do, even though we fight it when we're here.
Right. But, you know, I mean, once you've learned all of your lessons, just from what he is saying, when you've learned all of your lessons, you go and you're like, okay, you've seen all of these things, you see all of this, and you're like, man, I did it. Now what do I, you know, like,
you want to play?
I do the best that I can here, and I get to the highest level that I can here, and then I just watch my loved ones and send them signs and help them and do blah 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 and whatever.
So then we're guides.
And right.
So he would have been a guide then, right? Right now, like, he could be a guide.
Absolutely.
He is.
Absolutely. Yeah, he is for a couple of people. Yeah, not me specifically. I mean, he is part of my team, but he is not one of my main guides at all.
Did he explain that to you? Like what we call soul tribe? Like, is that a thing?
Yes, absolutely. And they have soul tribes there too, and they change. So, you know, he still got there. So one of his very, very close friends passed away almost a month to a day before he did. And that was like his soul brother, you know, and when he passed away, kind of, you know, I don't want to say that he was a different person, but you could tell that it hit him hard. Like, it was not easy for him. And George is now still a part of his soul tribe there. Wow. But he's kind of got a new soul family there. Like, they've got these little groups and they kind of learn and feed off of each other. Like, people have certain things that they have mastered that others haven't, and they kind of lead them to different things. And, you know, I asked him one day, I was like, so when, you know, you're like in your group of your soul tribe or whatever, and you're looking down on the earth and you're looking down at people, like,
Mhm.
what do you see?
Yeah.
And he said, for the most part, unless you have a twin, or at least unless you have someone that is very, very closely connected to you soul wise, you see lights. And pretty much everyone in his soul tribe, when they see me, they see a light. He sees me as I see him. And that's the way that we choose it to be. If we chose it to not be that way, we would see each other's lights. There are times that I have wanted to see his light, and I can. It's not hard for me to do, but that's just what we have chosen, to be able to still see each other in the physical form, because it makes it a little more real, I guess, for us. So, I mean, I guess they have a choice of who they're directly, closely connected with, what they see. Do they see this person, or do they see their child as a light, or, whatever the case may be? They have that choice. People that are outside of your soul group, your soul family, see whatever it is that your soul is projecting. So if you've got this dark aura hanging around you, what they see is like this cloud, and they're like, ew, what can we do to help this?
Oh, wow. That's interesting.
So, yeah. So we go through that, and I wasn't fully prepared for this to happen, because, I'm used to talking to him all day, every day on my way to work, like all day, every day. I talked to him, and I couldn't. After my communication with Ray, I had a conversation with Archangel Michael and Archangel Metatron. So Metatron is Ray's main archangel, and Michael and Archaea Faith are my main angels. So Michael, Faith, kind of the way that she lays things out for me, she's kind of soft and subtle, and she gives me all the feels. Michael is very this is how it is. He's not forceful with it, but he's a little more direct. Metatron, I don't ever know really how to take him, because he's very abrupt with a lot of things, but that's very much what Ray needs, is the abruptness. But anyway, so I have a conversation with these two, and what I'm told is that if there is anything that I needed to communicate to Ray, I had to communicate it through Michael, and if there was anything that Ray needed to communicate to me, he would communicate it through Metatron. And there were a couple of times that both of them allowed either me or him to connect with each other when it was very important things that we needed from each other. But for about 2 months, really, I had no contact with him. And it was hard. However, had we not had that conversation beforehand, it would have been harder, because we had that conversation before, because I went through what I went through, and I could feel the realness of it. I knew what was coming on the other side. So knowing that he's got to go through timelines, and he's got to put all of these little things in place so that he can come back, knowing that that's what he's doing, made it a lot easier.
So is that what it was? Is that what he told you, that we can't communicate because I'm setting up the next life?
Right. And he didn't want, he couldn't keep in contact with me, because that was going to keep pulling him back into my lifetime right now. And he's trying to get away from all of that so he can set everything up and then come back. I was told, not by him, but I was told by angels that he is going to feel like home, because I wanted to know, how am I going to know that it's him? Is it going to look like him? Is it going to be somebody completely different? Is it going to be a twin flame reincarnate in a baby?
Whoa, so many questions. And then wouldn't it also freak you out to be scared to death to talk to another man because you're like, I'm waiting for Ray. I can't love you.
Right, right. So I was told that I would know instantly, and
Oh,
it
good.
would feel like home. It would feel like home, and that I needed to write what home felt like to me. And I did, and I'll send that to you so
Okay.
you can
Yeah.
share it with the video or whatever. But so I wrote what home felt like to me, and I go back to that often and read it. And every single time that I read it, it resonates deeply. So I know that when I am face to face with Ray, I'm going to know that it's Ray.
Wow.
Um, I had a small vision not long ago about, so first there was a friend of ours, and I mean, Roseanne has been on the channel before, so I'm sure everybody knows who she is, but she had a small vision at first of how it looked like it was going to go down. And then as she's telling that story, it's triggering the song that I heard right before she had said this. And it was a very unlikely song that I didn't really pay a lot of attention to because it's not really something that I would listen to, but it made me go back and listen to this song again. So I did. And then I had a vision of how things were going to play out. And a lot of things that what she was saying were similar, but there were some things that really stood out to her that didn't stand out to me. So I'm trying to mesh what was relevant in her story and what's relevant in my story, kind of make that one big story so I can have all of the pieces and
Yeah.
maybe have a little bit more of things to look for that will be like, ding, 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 you need to be in the present. Like you need to pay attention because you're right. I am not, I'm not going to say I'm not drawn to men. Like men are attractive. There are some men that are attractive to me and things like that. But
But there would be an underlying paranoia or fear
right,
that would, and then like, that's a catch 22 because what if that's the thing that's keeping you from Ray?
right. Well, so I have told myself that desires are going to be desires. You know, we are humans right now, whether we want to be or not, we are. And desires come along with that. And I can give into them or I can feed into them, but I need to let my soul decide. I don't need to let the physical human aspect of, you know, that whole
Yeah. Kind of
that
like if
part
you're
take over.
craving Cheetos or something, it doesn't mean you have to go eat it.
Right, right.
You just
Even
crave
though
it.
you really, even though
I
you
know
really,
there's
really want
some
those
good
Cheetos.
Cheetos.
Yeah,
I know. That doesn't mean they're good for you.
right.
So funny. Could you share a little bit of what of the vision that Roseanne had and a little bit about that song?
Sure. So the vision that Roseanne had was, from what I gathered from it, was a some type of party meeting type thing where a bunch of people were gathered, and it was like uniform. People were wearing the same things, and she saw white and black a lot. Like women would be wearing white top, black pants, and then vice versa with the men, black and white or whatever. That was very prominent to her, that she saw uniformed clothing, like a lot of people matched. And it was kind of mingling, and there were a lot of singles. There weren't very many couples, and I think she said that she saw a couple couples, but not, for the most part it was single people. Like they didn't come with partners. Now what I saw was more of a party, not like disco dancing type, like not like a
Like a
rave type.
house party?
Right. Like people were mingling. The clothes did not stand out to me. And actually, I don't remember what anyone was wearing. So that was not a major thing to me. What was a big thing to me that stood out is that there was an area where people were dancing. There was an open bar. It wasn't a nightclub though. It was kind of like, maybe a wedding reception that has a cash bar, and then they have a little dance floor and there's a band that's playing. It was kind of like that kind of setting. And what I remember is being at the bar, and there was a gentleman that was standing next to me, and the gentleman asked me if I wanted something to drink. Like he was offering to get me something to drink. And I said, no, thank you. I would just like some ice. And it clicked. I at that point, I looked at this person, that person looked at me, and we knew that we were,
it's you.
right. We knew. And it's because that is exactly the first conversation that Ray and I actually had. Was he asked me if I wanted something to drink, and I said, no, thank you. I just like some ice. And it kind of like during my vision, it rolled off my tongue like it wasn't, like it was brand new. Like this was not something that had already happened. But when we looked at each other like, I know you and I know you're Ray. And this person said to me, I know you. And I said, your name is Ray, isn't it? And he said, yep. And you're Valerie. And so it was instant. And then we ended up dancing for a little while, which is weird because neither one of us really dance. And the song that I heard before Roseanne's vision was Chances by Backstreet Boys.
Random.
Right. Very random. But if you go and listen to the lyrics.
The lyrics are beautiful. Yeah, I'll put the link
right
below.
Right. And it's kind of like, what are the chances that we would end up dancing? Mm-hmm. Like 1 in a million, like literally 1 in a million. So we're dancing. And I remember thinking, how did I learn how to dance?
Oh, not about my husband's back, but how did I learn how to dance?
How did I learn how to dance? And he's dancing. Like what?
Yeah.
I mean, now I won't, like we used to do like goofy 2-step dancing in the living room and stuff. Like we would do like that kind of thing together, but not like in a crowd of people actually dance. Like it's like a cheesy couple thing that we did at home, not like for real.
You know how interesting that you're saying all this stuff, because I feel like, you know, a lot of us, whether you're on the twin flame journey or not, just being on this awake journey, we want like our questions answered. We want guidance, you know, give me a sign. And look at all the signs that you're mentioning are things that a lot of us take for granted. And like a song, everything arrives in like a whisper, but you have to be listening to that guidance because it's there all the time.
It is. And it is for everyone. It is for everyone. And it took me a really, I don't want to say it took me a long time to actually start paying attention to all of the signs, but it took a big grief for me to start seeing these things. So I don't just see the signs with Ray now. I see the signs with everything around, everything. So I'm starting to see signs from my grandmother, which I never saw before, but I know they were happening. I'm seeing signs from my father, who is in spirit, that I had never seen before. And I can see my grandfather in Kinley, which I'd never seen before. Wow. So, you know, because I am aware and because I'm paying attention, I can see all of these things, not just from Ray, but from all of my family that is in spirit.
And before we started this, you found a white feather, and so did I.
I did. Yeah. And the white feathers are very, very special to me, because that was after the whole burner on Kinley's kitchen thing. The next thing that started happening very, very frequently were white feathers. And I would find them in my bed with me. I would find them on my pillow. I would find them under my pillow. I would find them in very intimate places. And then he started using them as signs for me, like, okay, please let me know if I'm doing the right thing, or please let me know if you like this decision, like this big, massive tattoo that I have on my arm. It is very meaningful to both him and I. The meaning of it, it's a big bird, and then there's a mermaid, and the mermaid has her hand inside his chest holding his heart. And he always told me that I was his safe place. And that's what this resembles, is just me holding on to his safe place.
Mm-hmm.
And when I went to go see the tattoo artist with the idea of what I wanted, and I gave him a couple of more ideas to kind of incorporate to it, like feathers and candles and something else that's private between him and I. So I'm not going to mention it. That's kind of on the kinky side, but so how to tastefully put all of these things together with this image, right? And so when I went to go meet with the tattoo artist, and after he had sketched everything, I went in, and he showed me the sketch, and I immediately started crying. Like, it was beautiful, and it's just pencil on graph paper.
Wow.
And it took me back.
Story. It's your story.
Right. So immediately I was like, this is awesome. Absolutely, we are doing this. I don't care how long it takes. I don't care how much it costs. Like, this has got to be on my body. And he was like, how big are you thinking? And I said, as big as you like, whatever proportion is comfortable for you, whatever is going to make it the most vibrant and beautiful for you to do, then do. So he did the outline that day. When I went and got in my car, in the passenger seat, there was a white feather stuck in the seat. And I took a picture of it, and I sent it to the tattoo artist, and I said, he approves. And
so
he
then
was like,
everybody watching needs to pay attention to the feathers, to the signs, the pennies, all that magical stuff that we're like, it's just a bird. No, it's a sign.
It is a sign. And my grandmother does pennies, but she doesn't just do one penny. She does 3 pennies. So when I find 3 pennies, I know that it's my grandma. And more times than not, I don't just find 1 penny. I find 3 pennies. And how, that's just not.
But then we got to pay attention to the patterns and how you feel and what were you thinking about, things like that.
Right. Absolutely.
Going back to this concept of, okay, your twin flame is coming back. There's a lot of talk of we're receiving a lot of walk-ins coming onto the planet, high-level beings that are coming to create the new Earth because of the mess that has been made, and now we're recreating, right? And so to match or even higher than us, although I don't see how it can be higher than us, because only the badasses come here, because this is not an easy place. So what I'm trying to get to is, it occurred to me that there are a lot of us on this awakened journey that are looking for love. We're looking for a high caliber love like us, with integrity and the same, belief system, etc. And what do you think about these walk-ins, just like Ray, because he's going to be one, coming in? And so maybe don't freak out if you're looking for that relationship, because maybe he's not here yet, like literally.
Right. Absolutely. So the whole walk-in thing, the first time that I heard about the walk-in thing was a few months after he passed away. So this has been like
interesting,
over a year ago. And it was my spiritual coach that was talking about it, and it had nothing to do with Ray. She was just talking about an experience that she had, not with her specifically with a walk-in, but one of her friends. And she was talking about how at that point, like, it was something that just didn't happen very often. And she said then, I feel like this is going to start happening though soon, because It has to. Like, the earth is getting in trouble. We're not moving nearly as quickly as we need to be moving. We're not ascending as fast
And
as we
there,
should
a
be
lot of
ascending.
people are choosing not to wake up. I see people that
Right.
are just not gonna fucking wake up.
Right. So she's telling me all of this, and it's not, I'm not going to say that it wasn't resonating, because I believed everything that she was saying. Like, it made sense to me, and it wasn't out of the realm of possibility. It just didn't, like, it wasn't something that really piqued my interest.
So
I
what was
wasn't.
she saying? She was saying that she thinks it's gonna start happening a lot more.
Right. So what she was talking about specifically was that she had a friend that, she was very big into tarot, and, she did a whole bunch of things, mediumship and all of these things. And then her husband died. And when her husband died, she kind of started going back on everything that she had believed in.
Well, that sounds like Doreen Virtue, like how she did that.
Yes. So and she actually
I
compared her
personally
friend.
know a lot of people that have done a complete 180, and you're like,
Right.
what happened to you?
What happened to you? Right. So she compared her friend to her. Not that extreme, though. She said, she wasn't like saying that what she was doing previously was the devil or anything like that. She just kind of was like, I was in a place to where my mental state was not well, and I wasn't, basically she didn't believe in all of the spiritual stuff that she had formerly believed in.
So probably it was the new soul, and whatever the previous soul had been doing is like, no, we got to go this way. Like,
Right.
this is the new mission, so we got to go this way. So then it's not that it's right or wrong. It's just that the soul has a plan.
Right. The soul has a plan. So she was telling me this, and, she said that she feels like there was going to be a lot more walk-ins happening, even though it wasn't really something that just happened a lot. She just felt like it was going to start happening more.
That's what I've heard too.
Right.
And I've had friends, one of them that I had on the channel, Denise, her husband, she says he completely is different now. He's so soft, but it was after his mother died. So I wonder if that plays a part, where there's some kind of like trauma, like the death of a loved one or something.
Mm-hmm. There's a lot of different things that I think that, that can cause your soul to die, and your fleshy body is still here. But when that happens, something takes over. I mean, if your soul dies, your skin is just not gonna work on its own without something.
When I don't think the
making it
soul
go.
dies, I think the soul's like, fuck this, I'm out of here.
Right.
Thing. Or I'm tagging you in.
Right. So it kind of exits. We'll use the word exit instead of die. So when the first time that I heard about a potential walk-in situation with Ray, I was thrown several different scenarios. Number one was a soul share, and one was a walk-in, and I don't remember what the third one was. It didn't resonate with me at all, so I didn't hold on to that information. But I'm leaning more towards walk-in than I am soul share, because if he's sharing a soul with someone else, he's not going to feel like home. And that was one of those things that was very matter of fact. He is going to feel like home. And I know for certain that he has several individuals that he has in mind. I am not keeping fixated on those individuals, because anything can happen at any point. Because there was somebody, several months ago that he was like, oh, this is the one. And absolutely was not. Like, there was no, he's trying to make sure that
the people have free will though, right? Just like, I mean,
yes.
I remember having Christ visit me, and I'm not like this Jesus follower, because I grew up Catholic, so my understanding was very limited, and I thought you're not, it's blasphemy to worship anybody other than God, so I'm not going to worship Christ. So it was just my ignorance. And so when
Right.
Christ came to me, I was like, whoa, you are Christ. Because like,
Right.
I mean, I don't do this, and you came to me anyway. Wow. And it was just pure love. And he said, you can be with your husband if you want to. And everything was going wonderful, and we were back together. And then everything changed. And I was mad at Christ, but it wasn't Christ. It was my husband at the time, who chose not to get on the bus with me because it's too hard, and I don't
Right.
want to I don't want to work to get up to that vibration. It's fucking,
Right.
I don't want to do it.
Right. Well, we shouldn't have to. We should be able to just meet each other on the same frequency so we can vibrate on the
Well, I
same
think
level.
some people like, I think they can. That's the thing. Cause like in dating now, like guys, I think people think they're better than they are. And then, but when it's on the line, it's like, oh shit, I gotta be good. And I don't think I can.
Right.
But I
I don't
thought I
think I can.
could. I really
Or want
wanted
to.
to. Yes, they
Right.
want to, but wanting is not being. And
Right.
like, I don't think it's supposed to be hard. Like either you are or you're not. And that's it.
Right. And, going back to the twin flame thing, like, love is not hard. Love is not hard. Communication is hard. To a certain degree. Okay. So a twin flame is a mirror of you. I am him and he is me. We bring out the worst and the best of each other. And the reason being is so that we can learn those lessons about ourselves. I'm going to say this again because it's very, very important. I am him and he is me. We are not two separate individuals. We are the same soul. We just split apart. So I am loving me. He is loving himself. We are loving each other because we are one.
And that kind of what you're saying sounds like that's what the new love is, where we're in the 5D, in the new earth, whatever you want to call it. That's the new love. That's why you have to love yourself first, because that would it heals you. You're getting
Right.
filling all your own cup. You're soothing yourself without needing, clinging, being addicted
Right.
to anyone or anything.
Right.
So it's not low vibe, it's super high vibe, because
Super
it's
high.
just like, hey, you want to come play with me? Because I'm already good.
Right. Right. I am good. I love myself. My cup is full because I fill it. He
You're
adds
kind of
to
in
my
that right now, though, aren't you? Like by force. I mean,
right. Right.
wow, that's
But
so interesting. But I feel like so many of us, whether you consider yourself a twin flame or not, like I see myself in you, even though I did not believe any of the twin flame stuff out of ignorance, because I've never experienced it. And if I have, I don't know, like, I mean, maybe I have, I don't know, but I'm just like open-minded, and I want to learn. But I feel like a lot of us can relate to you because of that recipe that we all have to go through, whether you're male or female,
right.
whether you're single or in a relationship, because I feel like you still have to learn that. Like where we're going, that's a requirement.
It is absolutely a requirement. And I think that's why a lot of people reincarnate and come back to earth, is because they have not learned how to love themselves.
Wow.
And I can tell you that 100% this lifetime right now, the reason why I am in this lifetime is because I did not love myself. I thought I did, but it took losing very special people to me in a very short time frame. I'm talking about within 3 years, I lost my son, my father, and my spouse.
Wow. Wow.
And then just recently, my last grandparent passed away. So, I lost a lot of people in a very short time, and you have to love yourself. You have to love yourself or you are not going to survive. I mean, if there's ever anything that's going to keep you going, it is how much your people that are in spirit love you. It is, I mean, it is so undescribable, but you have to believe in it and you have to allow it to happen for you to be able to experience it and actually feel it. And it is phenomenal. I mean, I don't have much to compare it to because this is pretty much all that I've ever known. But I want to teach people how to feel the love that I feel and how to love yourself so that you can open that up and you can receive the love that you deserve from yourself and from everyone that
Well,
loves
I feel
you.
like it starts with you and then it just starts showing up in the world as evidence to you. Like,
Absolutely. I
oh.
mean, yeah, you love yourself and you're vibing so high, other people's frequencies can feel that and they're attracted to that. And they're like, oh man, like what's going on with her over here? Like she's phenomenal.
Yeah. And not only that, but you also are the example for everybody else around you that's watching, because you know they're watching.
I'm glad because I mean, I want to help people. I want people to be able to love themselves and get to a point to where,
imagine if everybody loved themselves, how freaking amazing it would be just now already. Like
right.
That. Wow.
I know.
Incredible.
But I truly feel like you know, you're not going to receive the love that you absolutely deserve from a different individual until you give yourself the love that you deserve. And once you do that, you have like a standard for yourself and you're not going to accept anything less because you know what you deserve.
Yeah.
And if somebody comes at you with less than that, you're like, sorry.
So it can only help you in every way. And then like also not believing the bullshit from 3D programming that says, I better take this offer that's garbage because what if I never get anything else? That's not true. There's so much more after that. That was just a trick at the trap. I mean, don't fall for it.
I mean, I am sitting here as a testament telling you people that I am very much in love with my partner who is in spirit. He is physically not in front of me. I have a relationship with my partner who has passed away.
Yeah.
If anything is possible, like this, you guys.
This is magic. That's just the epitome of magic right there. So then also it makes me think of, you know, have you ever seen those memes that are like first world problems and like, oh, I have a brand new iPhone. Oh, but I have to wait 3 hours to charge it. First world problems and like stupid shit like that. And I feel like that's what we are. We're so freaking privileged. We're so soft. And like we complain about the dumbest stuff. And it's like, you're complaining about your guy because he lives across the country. This woman's man is in another freaking dimension. Like
he's in another dimension, right?
Yeah, so it's like, check yourself. It's not that serious. You're okay.
Right. You'll be fine.
Yeah, and there's a million walk-ins coming and they're hot. So just wait for that. Prepare yourself. Go love yourself.
Right. Go love yourself.
That's so funny.
But I am so excited, and I don't want to say that I can't wait for him to come back, but you know what?
I'm excited. I'm more excited. Well, we know he's coming, but I'm more excited about the unfolding, the story, the movie, you know, like the romance of it. And like, it's always like my team is always telling me, like they show me memories of like, cause all the people that I've been with, it's always happened in like crazy, magical, weird ways, even before I was awake. So they always show me like, remember you felt like this. Remember you thought it's never going to happen. It's going to take forever. I guess it's over. Like I'm going to be alone forever. And then when you least freaking expect it in the most magical way, boom, soul recognition. Like you said, you feel like home. I know who you are. that's always how it's happened for me. So for those of you that are single out there and that are, you know, because I see on Facebook every day all these amazing, beautiful, powerful, spiritual men and women both saying the same thing. And I think, oh my God, like all these people are single, all these people are awake, all these people are incredible. And we have the biggest hearts, those of us that are awake. I mean, man, we sacrifice ourselves for the greater good. And they're
Every
all
single day.
crying, right? And they're all crying about being lonely, about when is love gonna come find me. And it's so interesting to me because everybody's saying the same thing. And I'm saying, stop looking for it, because if you look for it, you're pushing it away, you're locking the door. No, let it
And you're gonna find things that you're not meant to find. If you're looking for something, you're gonna settle.
Forcing, right? You're forcing. Yes, that's
Right.
what keeps happening to me. They keep telling me, don't look, don't be going on dating apps, don't do none of that shit. Like, let it fall into your lap. It will
Right.
fall into your lap.
It will fall into your lap.
When
So
you
I
least expect it.
Right, when you least expect it. So I was told that, and not by Ray, but I was told that I needed to rekindle friendships from my past, from people that had not wronged me. Um, and I was thinking physically, like people that I remember being in my past, you know? So I'm thinking about that, and I'm reaching out to friends that I've had that I haven't talked to in a long time and just asking them how they're doing and things like that. But last night, I thought, what if it's someone that's not from this lifetime? Like, I'm limiting myself.
Ooh.
You know, so it could very well be somebody that was a friend in a previous life, and I am looking in the very wrong place. Like,
So what would you do in that situation? So then basically that means don't count strangers out.
right. So that is just it. At this point now, I am not looking. However, I am not going to shy away from a friendship if it presents itself to me. If
Right.
it feels toxic, I'm going to trust my gut and I'm going to leave it
Hello.
alone.
Yeah.
But if it feels comfortable to me, I'm going to engage in that friendship. You can never have too many friends. You can never have too many people supporting you and being on your team.
Right. That's a
So,
very important thing that you said, though. If it's toxic, you're going to let it go, because I feel like that's a big trap that a lot of us tend to fall in, being empaths and healers, is that we want to save everybody. We want to help everybody.
them.
We want to fix them, but you can't do anybody's healing for them. You can't be in the hospital and heal their bones for them. It's not your body.
Right. Right. You can guide them. You can give them the tools that they need to help them. There is another feather on my bed. I don't know like, I don't remember it being there before,
So
but
cool.
there's a feather chilling on my bed. But yeah, I mean, like, we can help people and we can guide them in the correct direction. We can give them the tools and we can kind of get it started for them so they can hang on to that and keep growing from it. But a lot of people don't want to do the work.
That's draining, because I feel like, and I'm not even talking like, it doesn't just have to be romantic, because even like family situations, with children, with friendships, where they're like, they come to you, fill me up, pep talk me up, but I'm not going to do any of the shit that you're telling me, but like, fuel me up with your light. And then you feel drained and exhausted on every level. And not only that, but it distracts the fuck out of you. And then you forget what you were going to do, because you need a nap and a salt bath. And
well, I have a very good friend that is, I mean, she is light and she is love and she means well and she has a good heart and a good soul, but she also is her worst enemy. She is her own worst enemy because she manifests things happening to her that are not good. Like, she manifests
like what?
sicknesses in her
Oh,
children. You know, like she is very powerful, but she doesn't realize what she is doing.
I think
Um,
that's a bunch of us right now. We're so powerful that it's like, be careful what you're looking at, what you're focusing.
and she, I mean, she would help anyone in a second. That, I mean, she just is that kind of
Hmm.
soul, and she loves everyone, and she sees the good and the light in everyone.
Hmm.
But she is she is toxic to herself.
Wow.
I mean, she is this beautiful light and this beautiful ray to everyone except herself.
Wow.
Like, girl.
Wow.
I mean, you can call her out on it, and she will 100% say, you're right, you're right. And she'll fall back in line for a little bit. And then one little thing will happen, and she'll focus on it to the point to where she's manipulating it. And then she starts manifesting it, and it just grows into this big, huge thing. I'm like, girl, you've got to quit.
Yeah.
I've got to quit.
Well, and see, I can only relate that to like me with dieting and stuff. It's like, you already know what you got to do. Come on. Like, okay, I'll do it
Same,
on Monday. Next
same,
Monday.
same,
Right?
same,
But
same.
so, I mean, it's one of those, but this is at a psychic manifestation level. And I feel like, okay, you want your abilities. Okay, you want to be with the big dogs. This is what comes with the big dogs. Like,
Right.
heavy is the
You've got to work.
right on the head, because it's like, oh shit. Like, you have that magic wand and you make the worst or the best. It's up to you.
Right, right. Absolutely.
Ugh, that's what we got to remember.
I know,
Every
because there's, I mean, we are just so powerful that we don't realize, like, what we're leaving in the dust. Like, we're not cleaning up the little particles that we're leaving behind. And, you know, we kind of fall back onto them, not realizing that we left the shit stains behind. And you know what I mean? Like, we're falling on ourselves because we're not cleaning up after ourselves.
so
We're
just be
creating,
energetically responsible.
right.
It's like driving on the highway. Like, you have to keep your hands on the steering wheel and you have to keep looking forward, look at your manifestation. And then it's okay if you veer off the road and start hitting those bumps on the side. Like, that's just to
That's what,
remind you, right? Hey,
right. That's what
yes,
they're
I'm
there
over there.
for.
Yeah.
That's what they're
So,
there for, to redirect you back to where you're
yes.
supposed
So
to
then
be.
just redirect. It's like you drop the ball. Okay, bend down, pick it up. I have it again. I'm back.
Right.
And I'm going to switch my thoughts.
You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right.
Sounds easier than it than it freaking is.
I'm guilty as well. I mean, I do it. I do it too.
We all do it, yeah, but it's just I think it's just training yourself, and then all of a sudden, oh, I'm doing it. I didn't even know I was riding this bike.
Right. And I mean, we are creatures of habit, but what we tend to do is fall into the bad habits. And then we, you know, we create this cycle for ourselves instead of falling into the good habits. It's so much easier to fall into the bad habits, you know, like,
And
it's
blame
so much,
everybody.
it's so much
As
easier
well.
to fall into a chocolate cake than it is to
Oh
a bowl
god.
of broccoli, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, I love vegetables, but I love chocolate cake too.
Right.
It's so much easier to eat chocolate cake than it is a broccoli.
Yeah. Yeah. Or both, and be like, well, I ate the broccoli.
I ate broccoli, so it's okay for me to
Yeah.
eat 6 pieces of cake.
Yeah. That's so funny.
They don't cancel each other out.
Unfortunately, no.
Right, right.
That's funny. So then those toxic boys are like that chocolate cake.
Right. Yes.
Oh god.
I mean, chocolate cake is good. It's fine. I
It
mean,
is.
chocolate cake is good. You can have fun with some chocolate
Those
cake,
boys are so
but you need to
cute.
make sure that you eat plenty of broccoli and cauliflower and all of your greens too.
That's so funny. So, what would you recommend for people that want to connect? You mentioned like your loved ones are all around you, and
Mhm.
they love you so much. What would you recommend for people that have lost a loved one, or that are feeling like lonely and are reaching out for, for that love? What would you recommend for them?
So it is all in intent, okay? And what you believe, um, is your reality. You have to believe in yourself, and it will become your reality. As far as trying to connect with your loved ones, there are a couple of different things and exercises that you can do yourself, and you can absolutely connect with your loved ones. It will take practice for you to be able to connect with people that are not associated or part of your soul group, but everyone has these abilities. And there are exercises that anyone can do. Number one is meditation. You have to learn how to get inside yourself and how to receive. So there's a difference between, a lot of people get confused with praying and meditation. They are not the same thing. When you are praying, you are speaking to your source, your higher, whoever is your God, or whoever is your source. You are reaching out to them, and you are talking to them, and you are asking them for guidance. All of these things. When you're meditating, you're letting the universe give you information. So you don't go into a meditation with the intent of, this is what I am going to get out of this. You go into a meditation with the intent of, what are you going to tell me? What do I need to know? Not, I need you to tell me that tomorrow Ray is going to come to me and he's going to meet me at a mailbox. And, that's not what a meditation is. If I want that, I can pray for that.
Okay, so it's like making a phone call, which is a prayer, versus answering the phone and just listening, which is a meditation.
Yes. So that is key. You've got, like, learning how to tune into yourself is what's very important with being able to connect with anyone that is, beyond the veil. Once you are comfortable with doing that, and people get discouraged because they feel like they fall asleep when they're meditating, or their mind starts drifting. That is very normal when you start meditating, because it needs to be a repetitive thing and something that you just keep doing to where it becomes a habit. So what I would recommend is like guided meditations, short ones, like 3 to 5 minutes. So you don't fall asleep.
That is short.
Yeah. But that's how you start. And I wouldn't recommend, like, when you start, I wouldn't recommend that you do it laying down. I would recommend that you do it sitting on a chair to where your feet can be firmly planted on the ground. And preferably with armrests, so your arms can rest beside you. But if not, like, have your hands resting on your legs so that your feet and your hands are grounded onto something. And, start with 3 to 5 minutes. If that's not, like, if you feel like that's cake, then bump it up to 10, bump it up to 15. But doing a guided meditation is going to keep you focused on that voice of what you're supposed to be doing, instead of just
wandering,
letting your mind wander to, how am I going to pay the light bill? Or am I going to lose my job tomorrow? And all of these negative things that you don't want in your atmosphere, because that becomes your reality. So once you can do that, and once you feel like you can fully connect with yourself and your higher self, and you are receiving, you have to focus your intent on the person. So you start kind of doing, like, focusing on your clairs. Like, what is your strongest ability? Can you hear your loved one? Can you see your loved one? Is there a smell that's associated with them? Can you smell that? Like, if they baked pies or something, your grandma, like, can you smell her blueberry pie, or her perfume that smells really gross, but you would love to smell it again because that was your grandma, Yeah. Focus on, like, what is your strongest ability as far as connecting to them, and then just dive into it. And I promise you, whoever you are thinking about, they planted that in your head.
Wow, they called you.
Yeah, they are the ones that are telling you, you can smell me. this peppermint that you are smelling, I am allowing you to
Oh.
smell that.
So
This is
that's
me.
why they come to your mind, because it's them with that
Absolutely.
smell. So I
Absolutely.
mentioned that in another video where I was saying uh, sometimes we think the emotions that we're feeling are ours and they're not, because
Right.
of our cords or extreme connection, like mine to my ex. And I said, sometimes when you think you're missing someone, and it's like super random out of the blue, like, what, I wasn't even thinking about them. It's them missing you.
Absolutely. And that took me a lot. That not that it was hard for me to grasp, but it took a lot for me to be able to believe that, and to be able to believe that
That you are
not
picking up information,
right.
and
And
it can trick you, because you still feel it. So it's like you're
right.
wearing somebody's clothes, but it's a little bit away. That's how I know. For me,
Right.
it feels like it's wrapped outside of me as opposed to coming from inside of me.
Yeah. So there, I connect a lot with song, and I get a lot of messages through song, and I have always, and so has Ray. That's just always been one of our things. We would send songs to each other, and I would listen to a song that he would send me, and I'm like, how does he know? Like, how does he know this? Little did I know. But the same, like, he would say the same thing, like, we are uplifting each other. That is what we are put here to do, is uplift each other. That's what we do. We make each other better. So after he passed away, I kept hearing a song about um, if you love me, just let it happen. Like, in this song, it was kind of a sad song, and it's more about like, um, do you really love me? If you really love me, show me, or let me go. Like, if you don't, just let me go. And I keep hearing the song, and I'm like, what? Like, I don't want to let you go. Like, I'm getting this song as if it was me, like it was my song saying, like, I needed to let him go. Like, if I don't love him, I need to let him go. And I'm like, but I do love you.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-mm. That was him. That was him very much saying, if you need to let me go, let me go.
No.
Love me or let me go. And it takes a lot for us to really believe that other people have the same feelings that we do. It just,
Yeah, because
sometimes we don't feel like we deserve that.
well, and that, and like the matrix is an illusion, and like
Right.
hello, pride, ego, like, well, fuck her, she's not calling me, so I'm just going to pretend she died. But like, you can't control
Right.
the heart wants what it wants. And like,
Right.
some of us are powerful enough, I believe we all are, sensitive enough to feel that pull. Because I know when some of my friends are in trouble or not feeling well, I feel like something yanking on me. And sometimes I dismiss it. I think we all sometimes dismiss,
Mhm.
pulls or whatever messages, and it only gets louder. And then I'm like, oh my God, let me
Right.
just go check on her, because this isn't going to stop. It's going to
Right.
wake me up at night or
Right.
whatever. And then I go check, and like, there's something actually, like, they're in the throes of grief or whatever. And then I feel bad. I'm like, oh my God, I need to pay attention to that pull, because like, I could have helped her 3 days ago.
Right.
But
And sometimes I don't, I think that, like, for me, myself, I will get those pulls, and I am just so involved in what's going on
yeah,
with me that I'm like,
yeah,
I'm going to have to get back to this. I can't,
right.
like, I've got to do this, 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 this,
Mhm.
this. And we get so enveloped in what is going on that we forget. And you're right. That pull just keeps getting louder and louder and louder till we finally reach out. And then we're like, shit, like, I feel bad. I
Yeah. I mean, I
I
don't
am so
always
sorry
ignore
that you're
it,
getting
but
divorced.
but yeah, but sometimes it's fascinating to me, because even all the magical things that have happened to me, I still dismiss the magic. And I'm like, oh, well, no, it's not that. It's not psychic information. I'm just being crazy. And a friend recently told me, a guy friend, he said, well, I had said a prayer and this is what I prayed for. And I prayed, bring me the right person for this situation. And then I got the pull. And then I ignored the pull for 3 days, and it got louder and louder and louder. And to me, just to shut them up, I like, okay, I'm going to message him. And I messaged him, and he's like, I literally just prayed for someone, and you were the one that reached out. So I guess it's you. And I thought, oh, how magical. Life is so magical. And we talk ourselves out of it.
I know. I
Why?
do too.
It's so cool. And I thought, if I'm so grateful that he shared that with me, because it's validation. See, we are feeling what we're feeling. We are picking up information. You do have abilities. Listen to them.
Right. And I think that that's where a lot of people are, or, they just, like me, when I was growing up, when my imaginary friend absolutely was not my imaginary friend. It was Ray. My whole entire life.
What? Wow.
It has been him. And I just thought, oh, this is normal. Everybody has an imaginary friend, which people do have imaginary friends that they do make up, especially children. However, they're not making them up.
And I don't think they just don't have the language or the articulation to,
or it's programming, people don't understand because they've never experienced it themselves, and they're, oh, you're making it up. It's okay to have imaginary friends, yada, yada, yada. But that's something that I'm trying to instill in my daughter, is that, what she is feeling and what she is seeing. And when she's talking to her dad, and when she is talking to her grandpa and her brother, like, she is talking to them.
And she is very psychic, right? Can you share some of the occurrences that she has had?
And there's even times that daycare has called and said, hey, have you heard her talking to anybody before? And I'm like, absolutely. She talks to her dad all the time. And she was like, okay, I just wanted to make sure that you were aware. And I was like, absolutely. And please don't redirect her. Like, let her do it. Mm-hmm. Let her do what she needs to do. And she usually talks to him for a few seconds and then is like, okay, whatever. But there was, last Mother's Day, I've got 2 cabinets on either side of my entertainment center on the TV, right? And one side is kind of like a memorial for Ray, and one side is a memorial for Caleb. And there's things on top, and then there's things on 2 shelves, and then the bottom shelf and what is underneath it, like the little cabinet part, is empty, because that's Kinley height, and she plays, like she cooks things and sits them on there, she's 2. So the bottom 2 are empty. Well, on Mother's Day last year, she was playing with her stuffed animals and stuff. And she said, Mommy, I'm going to give these to brother. And so she's putting all of her toys on her brother's side of, like, her brother's cabinet. And she said, I play with Bubba. Like, what a great Mother's Day gift, like watching my kids play.
And had you like talked about him and stuff? Do you, like, when was the first time she mentioned something like that, and were you, like, shocked?
No, I wasn't, because we have raised her to know that she has a brother that is in heaven. Mm-hmm. And, we started very simple, just to make it easy for her, mm-hmm. That he was in the stars, and she still associates him and sometimes her dad in the stars and in the clouds, which to me is beautiful, because she will say things about her daddy being in the rainbows, or her brother being in the rainbows.
That's
so
cool.
Ever since she's been, like, even before we knew that she could understand what we were saying, we started talking to her about her brother, because so it would be more comfortable for us when she gets to the age to where she actually does understand that she has a brother that is in heaven. Mm-hmm. And now it's just like second nature. I mean,
I love that, because it's keeping them alive in your family. Right.
Absolutely. And we have a picture of Ray that's it's in between the living room and the dining room, but every morning this picture she says, "Bye, Daddy," and she has to give this picture a kiss. So I have to lift her up, and she gives this picture a kiss. And then she's got a picture of her and her dad in her bedroom. And that, I mean, she plays with her toys with her dad. And I mean, it's just the cutest thing ever.
I love that. I can't wait to see what abilities she comes out with. Like, that's incredible. And these kids are amazing, man.
Absolutely. One of my decks, let me find it. The one that she's got one that is her absolute favorite that she always wants to play with. She
from the universe. Ooh, Love and Connection.
So
Ray is probably pushing her to pick that one.
Yeah, I think so. But she'll pick up this deck and she'll say, "Mommy, moon card."
Whoa, she's giving you a reading. That's so funny.
Moon card.
That's awesome. Could you pick a card for those watching?
Absolutely. I will pull a moon card. So this is notes from the universe, and we went to Barnes and Noble, and I did not go with the intent to get a deck from Barnes and Noble, but I went with the intent to kind of just feel the decks and see how they felt and how they resonated, and then go on Amazon and just order them. But she picked up this deck and she was playing with it, and I mean, she was like enamored by it.
Whoa.
So we walked out with that deck of cards.
Wow.
And that is.
I love how pure they are, and they just honor what they feel. That's how we need to take a page from that.
Right, because they have no, like, they're not dated by any of the programming. All right. So here's the card that just came flying out.
I love it when they fly out.
It just flew out. So the front of this card says "Love in spite of it all." And these are like beautiful colors too. So what this card is saying is that before this odyssey ever began, there was you, your best friends, and wide-eyed curiosity among you about who would be the first to leap, the first to forget, the first to kiss, the first to tell, the first to fall, the first to get back up, and the first to remember that it all began with a dare to love in spite of it all. Is that you? It's the universe. P.S. I remember the glint in your eyes and all three of them. Wow. All three of your eyes.
I love that it says The Odyssey, because that's the name of the channel.
It does. Before the Odyssey.
Oh, I love it. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. And this is a really good deck too, because it kind of it's not really an activation deck, but I like to use it as an activation deck because there's so much love within them. And I have a deck that's actually love activations, and I use this one more than I do the actual activation deck. Yeah.
Well, because this deck is to your guidance.
Yeah. Well, and my child is so drawn to this deck for whatever reason. This deck and my mermaid deck, she's really drawn to.
That's so cool. What else can you tell us about your story? Is that the last part?
So that was pretty much it. You know, another part of my vision, that vision that I had is we ended up outside, and this was very prominent to my vision, is that there was this big concrete ledge in the parking lot, and it was so high that he had to lift me up and put me on this ledge so I could sit on it. Like, it wasn't something that I could jump up on. He had to pick me up, and that, like, he had to grab the top of it and pull himself up to sit up there. And we sat up there for a long time, and just talking about ourselves, and we knew everything that we were telling each other, and we were just validating each other.
Oh, I love it. Did you have feelings? Those, like, that intensity?
Yes. Like, I know I'm telling you this, but I know you already know it, but I'm gonna tell you this just so you know, right? Just so you know that you already know this. Like, so it was just magical. Everything about it was magical. And then he said, I'm going to ask you something crazy. I just have to do it. And he proposed, like he pulled out a ring. Like
This is
he's
the
just
guy
had
from the
this,
party, right? That asked
yes,
if you wanted a drink and
that
you said
night.
just ice.
Yes, that night he pulled out a ring and asked me to marry him. And I said, I'm going to tell you something even crazier. Yes. Like, and we got engaged the first night because we knew, But what is also very prominent is that I absolutely do not remember anything that he looked like, anything.
Wow.
What ethnicity he was, like none of his facial features, nothing. And I felt him though. Like I felt
Energy.
Ray.
Yeah.
Yeah, I felt Ray. So that just tells me that that's not what I'm looking for. I don't need to keep looking for someone physically similar to him, because I'm not going to feel like I'm not going to
Oh,
see
and that's
any of that
irrelevant,
anyway.
really. It's irrelevant.
Right. I'm
Just
not going to
wrapping
see any of that.
paper. Yeah.
Right. I mean, I hope it's pretty wrapping paper,
Oh,
but
I'm sure it will be. Ray's not going to disappoint you. Are you kidding me?
no,
That's so
absolutely. Like he's a little too vain for that to happen. He's not, I mean,
so funny.
he's saying right now, look at me. Like you think I'm going to pick something like, look at me.
Yeah. Oh, and then he's coming back for you. Come on.
Right. And that's something that I told him too. I was like, I'm going to love you regardless. I am going to love you. You could come back as, an elephant. I will just be the weird lady that's in love with an elephant, but please don't like, please give me something that is appealing to my eyes. And he was like, you know me better than that. Like, I'm not going to do you.
That's so funny. And it's funny because I have tapped into, a man in my field, and he's been in my field for over a year now. So I have a knowing of him. And sometimes he's in my bed. Like I'll just wake up and he's in my bed and I'm like, what the fuck? But like you, I can't see his face. I don't know his ethnicity, but I feel his energy and like all of that. It's so vivid and it feels so freaking real. And I know it's him, whoever he is, and it's interesting, it's very intriguing, but I think that our limited little mind can't go there, and you're trying to understand like geometry and you're 5 and it's like, oh, what are you gonna do?
But there are things that you can do though. I mean, you've got like I think I told you the story about shortly after he passed away, there was this miscellaneous light on a pillow in my bed. And this light was coming from nowhere. Like I put my hand over it because, if it's a light coming from, outside or whatever, it would break the light. It didn't. And, I'm like, this is Ray. This is Ray's light. Like this is like a pinhole of his light. He is shining down for me. And I told myself, I'm going to pick this light up. And I said out loud, Ray, I'm going to pick you up. And I slid my hand underneath this little pinhole light, and I didn't move it very far, but I moved it. This light was in my hand, and I moved it closer to my body until it disappeared. But I moved him. Like you have, like, if you believe, you can actually do these things. There is something that you could do that's an easy trick, and I wish I still had it. It's kind of like a little origami type umbrella thing that you make, and you stick a sewing needle in an eraser, and you have this little origami type umbrella that is pointed. I can show it to you sometime. I don't know where it is, but you can practice having the energy fields come out of your hands to where you put your hands around this and it moves it. It makes it turn in a circle.
Oh, wow. That's so
yeah. So after that, I started working on that, and I started trying to move this little
Hmm.
umbrella thing around to where I can get it going for like a good 5 seconds,
Wow.
which is doesn't sound like a
No,
long
it's
time,
exciting when
but
it's you doing it.
right, you're like, you're not touching it. There's no airflow anywhere. It's not your breath. Like it is your hands. The energy
Yeah.
from your hands is making this thing spin. And
Mm.
just practicing things like that really helps me know that anything is possible. Like I am really doing these things and this is my reality.
Right.
I can focus on an area that I know that Ray's energy is on. And if I focus long enough and if I believe
Mm.
hard enough, I can see the air disturbance. Like I can see
Yeah.
where he is. And it's
That's
phenomenal.
so exciting.
I've I've got some videos of orbs that have been around me that I can try to find and send to you. It is just phenomenal. And they're I would take the videos kind of in a progression to where they would go at normal speed and then slow down. So you can see these orbs
Oh,
just
that's
slowly, like
so cool.
you can tell that it is not a light refraction. Like it is
Yeah.
definitely an orb.
Oh, and there's a lot of us that see the orbs, the sparkles, all that. Don't discount the magic. That's just,
Right.
I feel like they're just reminding you, like, hey, I'm here. But whether or not you see the orb or the sparkle, they're still there. One morning
Absolutely.
before my divorce, where I had to go to court, it was before me going to court, so I was really stressed out. And as I was waking up, my entire ceiling was filled with gold lights everywhere, like hundreds. And I heard in my head, we just wanted to show you that we're here and you're not alone. And then they went away. And oh my God, like I was in tears because I kept praying for help and they showed up, all of them. And I had never
Yeah.
seen that color. I had never seen that many. My entire ceiling covered. And it's never happened again, but I've always remembered it and I like talking about it because it's proof that we live in a very magical world. So
Yeah.
embrace the magic, not the fear.
Right, absolutely. And anytime that you call on your angels, they are going to help you. But some of them, like you have to ask for help. Now, like the archangels and stuff, they're gonna guide you and they're gonna help you. But more your spirit guides, I have learned mine, especially like I need to more call on them for them to guide me than them just showing up. The angels, dude, they are just gonna be there. They're just like, okay, there's a wreck on the highway and they direct me to take the side roads. And that's something else that people can just start with very, very minimally. Like, do things very small like that. Just ask your angels a question, receive that information and do it. A very little, like simple question like, should I take the highway or should I take the side road?
Mm.
Whatever they tell you, do it, because there is a reason why they're telling you, but
Yeah.
that is something that people can do to kind
Yeah.
of just kind of get used to being in that mind frame of
Yeah.
talking to them, because
And it's not gonna always be like a voice. Like for me, it's a knowing. I
right,
instantly just know. And I don't always hear. Sometimes I hear. Sometimes I'll get little movies or an image, but most of the time it's just knowing.
yeah, I do a lot of knowing with Ray, but I also hear and see him. Now, as far as like the angels and stuff, Michael is very loud and verbose. Like he is very booming to me. I can hear him very well. But Faith is more, I kind of just know and feel her. And Metatron is kind of like, a combination of all of them. He's very confusing to me. Like I feel like he does this mysterious thing on purpose because he doesn't want me to fully like understand what I don't know.
That's so funny. I would love to do another show with you where we can talk to Ray and we can get like his take on like twin flames and stuff like that. You know, what's happening right now on the earth, things like that.
Absolutely. And he would
I
be
already
more than
feel him. He's
forthcoming
such
on.
a freaking
Yeah,
ham. I know he's like,
he
"Yeah,
is.
of course. Why do you think we're here?"
Right.
That's so funny.
And he likes, like, don't let him fool you. I mean, he's kind of pompous because I mean, even when he was here, like, there was something that he told me at one point, like, I write poetry, and I had sent him a poem that it was shortly after our son passed away, and it was more on the sad side and kind of like, do you know the woman who is lost inside herself? Do you know the woman that, like, it was sorrowful.
Hmm.
And his response was, yes, I do know her. When she cries, I've cried 1,000 times. When she's happy, I feel godlike. Like, he said these things that, I so took for granted and didn't understand. I'm not going to say understand. I took him for granted. And he's saying that he did the same thing. Like, we took each other
We
for granted.
all do. I can even say that about my ex. Same, me and him. All of us. We don't, you don't know what you got until you lose it.
Mm-hmm.
And like that can be in any regard. Like, oh,
In any regard.
like I missed the way you cooked, or I missed the way you made me laugh, or I missed, whatever. Anything.
And I don't wish the pain that I have had to go through on anyone, but the grief and the pain and the sorrow that I went through has got me to where I am today, and it has got him to where he is today. And
you guys have
it is allowing
exponentially, man. If that won't bump you up, I don't know what will. And I feel like so many of us, like, it's in so many different ways, but they're so devastating. Like the loss that we've all gone through as a part of this journey, where there's that dissolving of the old you, and like all this stuff gets ripped out of your life, and you're just left empty handed and like naked.
well, and you are, but you've got one of two things that you can do. You can let yourself succumb to that, or you can learn from what has happened and let yourself grow from it. Like, and the growing part doesn't really take all that much work. You just have to learn how to effectively cocoon and let your mind do it. Like,
So heal.
I think that, yeah,
Permission to heal.
I think that we just try so hard to control everything and what is going on that we stand in our own ways a lot of the time. So just like, it's hard to allow yourself to just do it. It's hard.
Sometimes all the time, things work out, because they always freaking work out, no matter how many tantrums you throw or scream. Then when I'm on the other side, like I can already hear them. They're like, see, we told you we had your back. And then you're like, oh yeah. And then you're like, why was I even doubting it?
Right. And the more you resist it, the longer it takes, and the more of a lesson that you have to learn, and the longer it takes and the harder it takes to get there. Yeah. It's just easier to accept it. Whether you feel like you're crazy or not, it's just easier to be like, you know what? My dead husband's sitting in bed with me. That's what it is. That's what it is.
Oh, but aren't you like so grateful that
I am.
Experience? How freaking lucky are you?
That's I am.
Awesome.
And I do feel very, very lucky, and I'm very, very fortunate to have the experience that I have, because I haven't lost him. He is still very much here. And there's actually a couple of Facebook groups that I am a part of that are specifically for love after life.
So this is a thing, right? You mentioned before there was a famous person whose husband passed away or something like that. You had said something similar to that.
Yes, and I can't. I
No,
didn't
don't say
really
the name, but I'm
look
saying like,
into
what
who
what
he
was the
is.
dynamic? I can't remember if he was famous or if she was famous, but one of them
He so he is related to um some very famous people.
Okay.
So he is his sister. He also is very, very talented. He was a painter and a semi actor, but like the big actors and actresses were his siblings. He was more of the recluse. He was more the painter and author type part of the family. But his second wife was his twin flame, and this lady is phenomenal. Oh my gosh, like some of the stories that she has of her and him are, I'm like, it is just rejuvenating to my soul to know that someone else has this extreme love like me. And it's just, I mean,
It validates
it's
you.
wonderful, right? It's
Well, number
wonderful.
one, it validates you. Number two, it's exciting to see, look what's possible. And if this is possible, that means anything's possible. So it's super
Absolutely.
exciting. There's no limits. Literally anything can happen.
Right.
That's so exciting. And that's why I wanted to bring you on, to expand people's minds. Or if there's somebody going through this and thinks they're batshit crazy, you're not crazy.
You're not crazy. I mean, I might be a little crazy, but
No, I'm so excited by that. And I feel like you guys are such an inspiration. And like, to know that that's possible, oh my God, that's everything. So
right.
thank you, Ray and Valerie.
You're very welcome.
That's so exciting. Does Ray have any parting messages before we go?
He's ready for me to lay down. Like
Oh,
I can feel it. He's always been that you need to make sure you get plenty of rest. You always push yourself. Quit pushing yourself. You need to get rest.
but you're
He's
so excited to share the story.
anytime.
Yes.
I would love to come back anytime,
Yes.
especially with him. We can do any kind of questions that you may have for him as far as what he experiences over there. He
That's
loves talking. So,
fascinating to me. Yes,
yeah.
please. Well, thank you, Valerie. I appreciate your time. Thank you, Ray. Thank you, Kinley, for letting us borrow your mom. Bye.
Bye.